But I would like to ask our wonderful juror and judge, Liz Haywood-Sullivan, to say a few words about the show tonight. But before I do that, I'd like to introduce her. And forgive me for those of you that have heard me say this all week long. Liz is a master pastelist from the Pastel Society of America, Master Circle from the International Association of Pastel Societies, immediate past president of IAPS, author, movie star in her own right, DVDs, and teacher extraordinaire. I mean, everyone who took the workshop would agree. Please, a big round of applause. Let's welcome Liz, who will tell us about the show.
What a wonderful turnout. And what a, just kudos to this lady here, okay? And to all of you, all the people who have volunteered to make this event and this workshop and this week what it is. This is what it's all about. It doesn't get much better than this. It really doesn't. Supporting each other in the art world and helping each other out and putting together something of this caliber. You guys really stand out. There are a few other places that have several pastel societies in the same state, but you guys are really leading the way. I have not seen another state do this, where you've come together and you've got the 3 different societies and you pull together and you're not competing with each other, you're sharing and you're making it better and bigger and creating an event like this and supporting each other in the world of pastel. Kudos to you, to all your efforts and for having created such a wonderful event. And seriously, to the gallery that has supported this venture this past week. So, jurying a show is not an easy undertaking. I know professional artists who will not do it. They don't like judging one artist against another, but you know what? Somebody's got to do it. It's how we learn. You're in art school, you do critique, you do compare and contrast, and you know, this is how we learn. And so the quality, it was, first of all, I had to do the online selections, which was not easy. And when I do my online selections, what I do is I do it over at least 3 or 4 days. I don't just take it the first time. I go through, look at the whole show, and then I start from the top, go through the bottom, make 1 round of selection. I put it away for the day. The next day I come back and I start jurying from the bottom up. Okay? You see things in different orders. And do it 1 more time, a 3rd time, before I solidify my selections. A physical show should not be, the awards need to be judged in person, because presentation then comes into play, and everything on the computer screen is this big. And so you have no idea what the painting really looks like. It could be this big, or it could be this big. And you're oftentimes quite surprised by the presence of a painting, big or small, when you see it in person. You also, it's very difficult to, at that size, you can see things like focal point, you can see big shapes, you can see good value work. Those are the things that you can evaluate. But it's not until you can see it in the flesh that you can evaluate things like competency, mark making, handling of the medium, all these things. So that is when I come into a show like this. That's what I'm starting to look at. I've already juried these pieces in. Every single one of the pieces that's in this show is here for a very good reason. And it a lot of it has to do with composition and subject matter and what makes this piece different. You know, you heard that from me if you were in my class earlier today, is what makes another sky painting? Why does this one look different? So, as far as awards, there were 45 awards, I think 45, a lot. Took several hours of going around and trying to evaluate. And what I do with every painting is I will come around the first round and I will stand in front of a painting, and I will stand there for several seconds and I will just absorb that one piece. The first time I go around, I am not judging piece against piece. I'm looking at each individual painting and I'm trying to understand what was the artist trying to say, and can I understand what that is. And I look at it at 3 different viewing distances. I stand back, and then I come to the middle, and then I get up. That close. I want to see how it's done. I want to understand I want to get inside and find out how you actually painted it. Get a little bit of an idea of what you were thinking about. And then I start to go through and winnow out my selections. I always hope that when I do that first walkthrough, that the best in show jumps out at me. It's always much easier if the first time around there's one piece, and sometimes I'm really intellectually, I'm not necessarily understanding what it is about that piece that sets it apart. Eventually I'll work it out and figure it out, why is this piece so special. But there were several this time around. And I'll talk a little bit more in a few minutes about my top 10 selections. But in the meantime, this was an exquisite show. You did a beautiful job. The work every piece in here is of a high caliber. It was not an easy job to do either the selections or to do the jurying. And if you got into the show, you deserve a huge pat on the back, because just getting into the show was should be a big accomplishment for every one of you who's here. So I'll give this back to you.
Thank you, Liz. So because of Nancy Kennedy's incredible efficiency, we have many, many, many awards. And for that reason, we want to encourage and promote the efforts of all our wonderful pastel artists. Therefore, we are going to call our winners up in groups. If we did this one at a time, we would be here till tomorrow. We're not going to do that tonight. Closer to my mouth. Can everybody hear me? Nodding all the way in the back, the cheap seats. Yes, all the way over there. Good. Okay. So, when you hear your name, please proceed up here. We will have a photograph taken of you and your certificate in your group, and then you will go ahead and, I guess, Nancy, are you going to be handing them out, or are they coming up to you afterwards? They're going to come this way. All right. So here we go. The excitement builds. We are starting with our honorable mentions. Gentle Spirit by J.K. Gordon, and please hold your applause till the very end of a group. Meditation 2, Homage to Philip Johnson by Christine Berndt. Appalachian Mountain Stream, or Appalachian, whichever you prefer, by Robbins Richardson. Evening Fireworks by Debbie Raspberry. Before the Day's Surf by Diana Coyden. And Too Many Eggs by Ann Kiefaber. Yay! Come on up. Liz, are you around? Can we get a photograph with you? She went that way. Can we get Liz back up front? Liz Haywood Sullivan, if you can hear me, please do come up front. She's making her way up here. Yeah, good.
Oh!
Thank you. a nice round of applause for these wonderful winners, talented artists. Thank you. If you proceed this way, very good. Next is Pink House, Topsoil by Lori Greenbaum Bache. Fisher Park Bridge by Ashley Mortensen. Wild Lavender by Kurt Weiser. Dog by Mary Crow. The Beauty of Bulbs. And I think I'm going to stop it there. Please come up. Mary Crow, I know you're here. There you go. A lovely round of applause. Very good. Thank you so much. Go this way, Mary, if you don't mind. Solitude by Patricia, and I'm going to say Shiner, though I know it's Sheener. Please come on up. Constant Rhythms by Janet Burgess. Down in the Valley by Kathy Pruitt. And we'll stop it at that. Please come on up. Are you the only one? Are you going to solo? Wonderful. You proceed this way. Our next group is Homage to the River by Allison Webb. Electric Marsh by Frederick Fielding. Keep in mind, a number of these artists are from out of town and may not be here. Daisies by Ginny Stocker, who I know is here. Ginny, are you here? Yay! Red Rover by Caroline Young. Come on over. And Cotton Top by Adrian Doss. These are our Merit Awards. Congratulations all. In our next group we have McGuire House by Garrett Briggs. Upstream by Ann Strutz. Yay. Blue Pot by Gary Rupp. Wonderful. Thank you all. Wonderful job. And if you, Ann, follow instructions, please. In our next group, we have Patterns of Diversity and Change by Judith Cutler. Golden Glow by Jeff Fahey, who I've had the pleasure of spending a week with in the workshop. Yay. Southern Live Oaks by Maggie Whitney Kendler. Surprise Snowfall by Eileen Wilhelm. Childhood Series Lemonade Stand Luana Luconi winner. These are awards of excellence. Excellent, thank you.
Yes, I am standing up.
We are continuing with our awards of excellence. Wildlife Refuge, Malia Ringleson. Sea Spray by Linda Coulter. And I'm going to stop at that. Wonderful work. All by yourself. We have Janet in our next group. Janet Johnson, Water Lilies. Turning Away by Marilyn Dwyer. Yep. Outside by Jerry Greenberg. Shrimp Fest by Deborah Covington, which is the Sue Panzarella Award, which is in memoriam of one of our wonderful members from Charlotte. Beauty by Pamela Winkler. Freedom by Tracy Ferens. Kobe Reading by Diff Whitmore. And Limoni E. Aglio, Anthony Hendrick Tiga K. Those are our awards of excellence. We have a backup. So now I'm going to ask Liz to do the final awards. So Liz, I'm going to show you where you get to start here. You know where you are. Just go straight up. We'll do that afterwards.
All right, these are the top 4 awards. My 3rd place goes to Tara Will for Foxtail Pines. Is Tara here? Oh, okay, Tara is not here. My 2nd prize goes to Patricia Savage for Castle Rock Tide Pool.
Oh, she just Patricia.
My 1st prize has nothing to do with the fact that she's been hosting me all week. It was by the way, they were all covered up. All covered up. Both the here and the titles. It's Laura Pollock. For her tame and gathering energy. And my best in show, which just jumped out at me, is Krakatoa by Anne Van Larcom Kurowski. It's the woman on the